Yeah. Not perfect, but enough value. Full. You made it.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Spankn New Music and welcome to my channel. Usually, I'm dropping my music on here, but I decided to drop the other side of me and what I do, which is real estate. And today's video is going to be about real estate wholesaling. So as you may know or may not know, there's different ways to make money in real estate. So this is a strategy I wanted to talk about and touch on based off of how I got started in the business. Okay, so what is wholesaling? Wholesaling is basically, all right, you're finding a discounted property, right? There's different marketing channels you would use, whether it's cold calling, direct mail, texting, paid ads, different ways, right? And a person contacts you with a situation, or whatever the case is, but they need to sell a property. That's the key. And at this point, get the property under contract low enough for an investor to come in to pay you $10,000, $20,000 above, and still be able to make a good profit off of that deal. So that is the basis of wholesaling. Once you have the contract, you assign it to your end buyer. That's the person that's coming through with the cash to fund the transaction and to get it closed. All right, so cool. So in May 2024, this is fresh, y'all, I started a new journey in a new market. Along with some new things I learned, as I've been doing this since 2013, I started my company. I didn't make any money until 2015, March 9th. Never forget it. At that point, never having this as a background or nobody in my family to be an entrepreneur, I had to learn from scratch, pay for a few mentors, all of this, that, and the third. But, I started a new journey in May, brand new market. So everything was fresh, buyers, fresh relationship with buyers, fresh relationships with sellers, everything was brand new. The journey is my journey to 50K a month. So I'm building that using the wholesale business and holding property as well. So I'll get into that in another video about my experience with holding, my 12 units and my whole experience with that later in another video. But just know in this new market, it wasn't all peaches and cream. Along the way, we had deals that we found, we locked them up, and the numbers wasn't right. We wasn't getting them at the right price. This came with us working with the buyers to understand the new market and where we needed to be and stuff like that. So it was a part of the learning and it's a part of the business. So we had to cancel a few joints. Never a happy thing to do, but it happens. All right, so now with those follow-ups, that's a part of the business, building up a follow-up system from the gate. So from May to this day, daily, we're going in to add more people into this system. Some days, you don't, but it is what it is. It's about the consistency and sticking to a strict schedule, if you will. So we kept following up, and we spoke to a person in June. And this person was not ready at the time, but agreed to us following up. So at this point, here comes August. It came around and we called him and he was ready. And got it under contract at a price that worked to where we had a buyer that was interested right away that came in. So the buyer that came in, let's point one thing out. It's in another market that I don't live in. So this person was critical, should I say. They came in, they took photos, they, gave me a nice printout of everything that needed to be done on the house and everything like that. Turned out, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have been able to get it, all of the pictures and things that I got. But also, I got the contract signed through this person. Don't normally do stuff like this. The seller is older, no email. We had it set, for the price. She came in and then she said, well, I have a couple of buyers that I was, thinking to be interested, for this versus me. So I'm like, now you're switching it. You're going from the buyer to you're trying to wholesale it too. So, I'm not greedy, and I signed a JV with her because she was going to bring the buyer and she was already on the ground. She went, took pictures. She did all of these things. So I said, figure, let me sign a JV with her and get this done. After about 2 weeks and 2 different buyers that she showed it to, they were trying to get a price reduction. She originally said if the buyers didn't want it, she would have taken it, at a price where we at least could have made something still, So, yeah, she flaked out. So now she went from, oh, I could get it, but I need to get the price lower and all this. And I'm like, what? Went back to the seller. He was adamant on the price we was locked at. He did not want to do a reduction. So now 2 weeks, mind you, I did not market this property. Now here I am marketing it. So I want to give y'all what I did. I pulled a list using Deal Machine of cash buyers around this property. Landlords that already own properties. I shot them text messages. I used ClickSend for that. I got a response back. It wasn't a whole lot, but it was one dude. You know, my real name is DARRYL, and his name was DARRYL. So he was out of town, but I knew he was a real buyer. I know he was legit. He had property in the area. He was out of town at this present moment, but he had somebody on the ground named RITA. So here's the 3rd week now went in. She came to see the property. They're interested. They're trying to offer, they tried to offer $2,000 under where we were locked and then came in at where we were locked. And I'm telling them that's not going to work. Where we need to be in order to make something happen. So we're going back and forth with this guy. Had the crazy experience with his assistant. She didn't want to be realistic with making an appointment with seeing the property. The seller didn't want to put a lockbox. He had things inside still, so he didn't want just everybody accessing the property. So we had to make appointments. So she was trying to be real adamant that it had to be like early in the morning or it wasn't going to work. So I went back to DARRYL, let him know, hey, thanks, but this is the situation. So all of a sudden I get a text back from the girl now. She can work with me on the schedule. So we get her in there. And after all of this stuff going back and forth with DARRYL, she goes and tells me that I really want the property, And she tells me, I really want this. You know, it's for handicap access for my son. And I just need to check on the roof and see if it's mold and see if it's this, see if it's that. She's like not making a move though, right? So 2 days go by, nothing. So I still was marketing it on Facebook Marketplace. And that thing got tons of hits. I mean, over 4,000 clicks. I mean, it's probably at like 6,000 at this point. But I was able to find some serious buyers out of there and some tire kickers. That's the game, right? So that's how I was able to find the legit buyer that, you know, that came in for this deal. So now we at the final step, taking the purchase agreement we had with the seller, and we have an assignment contract that we signed with the end buyer. And both of those agreements already, you know, we send those to the attorney to get the title work started so they can start the closing process. Hopefully everything comes back good, you know, stuff like that, right? Once it comes back, it closed, everybody gets paid, it gets settled out. And then that's it. The thing I used to always hear when I started this was on to the next one, right? But you should have always been on to the next one and never stopped. So whatever marketing you were building and building your system, that's an ongoing thing and will never stop. So even to the point where you can hire your team to come in and manage that database that you built, they're going to keep it going for you and keep generating more deals for you to close out of it. I'm going to leave y'all with letting y'all know how consistency is the key to this. So if you look from May, closing schedule is September 13th. Close to about 4 months in total before, you understand what I'm saying? So if you're getting into this business and you're getting frustrated and you want to quit after 30 days, after 60 days, after 90 days, whatever, don't put a time frame on it. Just put an understanding that you're building a business. And building a business takes time. Building a business takes building relationships. So this is an ongoing thing. And even when you bring in your team, you got to treat them the same thing. So until my next video, I'm going to be coming back. I'm not sure yet. I might be doing these every week, just dropping some knowledge on the wholesale game. I should have been doing this. As I said, I've been in the game over 10 years now. But I've been doing a lot of self-learning and growing too. So before I came into the market trying to show anybody anything, I wanted to make sure I had my understanding correct. I do music. Leave a comment if you want me to drop a video about any particular subject, about real estate, whether it's wholesaling, seller finance, subject to. Peace.
Yeah, this for the real ones.